Hey, Shalom, Barakathu Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Chadash, double honor to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to you brothers in the highways and byways, doing the work sincerely and faithfully, continually fighting that good fight of faith, Lord willing, we have found that number to be delivered. Alright? So this lesson is inspired by the class that we had this evening, and we were just getting into, just pride and, things of the world that a lot of these Israelites are grasping onto and holding on to, especially they that desire to hang on to this Christian mentality. All right. So be that as it may, I'm gonna get right on into it. I believe I'm going to entitle this "Pride, Unbelief, and the Lack of Fear." All right. Pride, unbelief, and the lack of fear. Now, these three words may seem and sound so simple. However, being in this thing of ours, these words can be hazardous to your health. All right? Especially, starting with this word pride. The Lord does not like a prideful spirit. And we have witnessed throughout time and throughout the years that men who come with that prideful spirit, or that prideful spirit, becomes their main, centerpiece, if you will, the Lord ends up getting them out of there. All right. So we're going to start with Sirach 10:12. It says, "The beginning of pride is when one departed from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai." All right. So when men start boasting themselves, talking about how good they are, talking about they've discovered this or they figured this out, these are the men who walk around with that pride, that prideful spirit. All right. And the minute they start walking around with that prideful spirit, they have departed from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. The Lord no longer takes precedence in their life. Again, they want to talk about their status, what they've done, how much they make, what they got going on. All right? And in fact, our main goal is to do two things. Speak about the coming of our Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai and the destruction of Babylon the Great. That's what's on the menu for us, man. All right? It says, "And his heart is turned away from his maker." And this is what pride does to you. And this is why I said this word pride can be hazardous to your health. All right? At this point in time, it's 2025. And there's nothing else a man of the Lord should rather do than be out here prophesying, pushing the word, ushering the coming of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. There's nothing better. There's nothing better else to do. We here at Great Millstone, from the head apostles on down, we do not give one damn about our feelings, what we want, how we feel, what we desire. We don't give a shit about that. It's all about pushing the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And then once you have done that which you've been asked to do by the Lord, then maybe he will grant us, those pleasantries that he made mention about the many mansions being built, about the kingdom being established, about us being set up as kings, joint heirs, and rulers of this world, and all that is therein. All right? And this is why a humble man would want to do according to his employer. All right? We've been hired by Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai to do a job. And that's what we've come to do. All right? But a prideful man in his pride will believe that all that he has done is of himself. All right? Let's continue on. Proverbs 16:25 says, "There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death." And what did we start off by saying? When pride enters into a man, he has been turned away from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right? The Lord is no longer taking precedence in this man's life. So therefore, now the things that he is doing, they seem right unto him. He wants to tell the people how great he is. These things seem right unto him. Right? It says, but the end thereof are the ways of death. And what men have done to themselves, they have spiritually, they have spiritually committed, self-deletion. They have spiritually committed self-deleting. All right? They have departed from the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. They think that everything revolves around them. And now this is the end result. There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. All right? So this is what's going to happen to those who feel and believe that you don't have to praise Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right? These are going to happen to the men that tell you that certain writings in the book aren't validated. So again, that time is going to come where these men are going to be, they're going to come to the crossroads of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. As the scripture says, is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. And men who walk around with great pride are those who are going to fall into those hands. All right? 2 Peter 2, starting at 2. And it says, and many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And again, when a man follows his pernicious ways, what does he do? They start talking about the truth. They start talking about the teachers who taught them. All right? It's everybody else's fault. They blame everybody else for their indiscretions. That's what they teach you. This is what Great Millstone taught me. But there comes a point in your life, man, you gotta stand up as a man. Right? And when you stand up as a man, you start to examine yourself. This is one thing that the truth has done to the men of the Lord. All right? It has given us great wisdom and discretion. And the water Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai for allowing us to receive these things. All right? You can tell somebody something about the truth. It does not mean that it's expedient for a man to do these things, even though they are written. You see? So therefore, you have to examine yourself thoroughly and ask yourself. And the elder and I, we tell the brothers, man, at the end of camp, whatever you do, be spiritual. All right? And by that, meaning what? If you find yourself in a situation, ask yourself the question, what would the elders do? What would the apostles do? What would Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai think about what I'm doing right now? All right? And having enough wisdom within you to say, yeah, I ain't gonna fuck with that. I'm gonna turn from that. I'm gonna go this way. But instead, because men have been, spiritually, stripped of the wisdom and knowledge that the Lord delivered unto them, now it's everybody else's fault. We're the reason why these men have fallen out. That's a piss poor excuse, man. Piss poor. Here we are coming down the last quarter of this thing, and now men are they want to cry and boo-hoo and weep in sorrow because they felt that they've been done wrong by the brothers. Well, did you stop to think for 1 minute that maybe the Lord has put you in this position that you put yourself in? That you find yourself in, I should say. That's the problem with Jake, man. They don't want to take accountability. It's everybody else's fucking fault. You see all these guys who are, disappearing. Now they got all kinds of stories to tell. It's all about credibility, man. It's all about credibility. If you profess yourselves to be a sincere, a humble, honest brother, and push the word of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, that should be your only desire, man. Let's look up that word pernicious, just in the general dictionary sense. It says having a harmful effect, especially in the gradual or subtle way. Right? And this is what happens when a man when the Lord takes the spirit from a man. All right? Or a man is doing shit in the world that he doesn't think anybody's going to find out. So you are gradually, destroying yourself. And then when the Lord reveals it, and when the Lord reveals what what you got going on, your shit you doing, then that's it. And this is why it says, a man shall follow their own pernicious ways, because they think nobody sees it. But little do they know, they're gradually separating themselves, little by little, bit by bit. All right? And then once they get found out, it's what? By the reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. You see how that works? The Lord is magnificent, man. The Lord He put this thing together like a well-oiled machine. You ain't smarter than the Lord. Man's goings are of the Lord. How then can a man understand his own way? You see? But these are the things that we have been taught. These are the things that were written for our learning, that we may be able to analyze, spiritually analyze this thing and keep ourselves in good standing with Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Right? Let's continue on. Proverbs 16 and 18. It says, pride goeth before destruction. Right? How prideful some men are, boasting and bragging and showing off, thinking they got it, thinking that nobody can take it from them, and they haughty spirit before a fall. So again, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai hates a prideful man with a haughty spirit, and he always gets them out of there. So much so, he hits them with them strong delusions, but they think they're still in the truth. They think they're still doing it. But in essence, this lesson here is just a reminder to know that, listen, the Lord ruleth in the kingdom of men. Keep yourself in good standards. You ain't got to worry about this. All right? The time is at hand where the word of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is being pushed more than ever and harder than any time in the history of the world. Because there's about to be a great destruction here in this kingdom. All right? A destruction so terrible that it'll never be matched ever again. So if you're not prepared, or you're not preparing yourself, and you're not doing as you have been commanded to do, what do you think is going to happen to you? You're going to be right a part of that destruction. It's not about your feelings, man. It's not about you people, what you think, oh, I should be, I need an apology from you. You got cats in this thing talking about we got to apologize to them. We don't even know these niggas. Don't even know them. Y'all got to apologize to me. This is crazy, man. We're here to push the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. We're here to let you know that the coming of the Lord, whom the world has, denied, whom they have changed their appearance, whom they don't believe, whom they say never existed, he's coming. And when he does come, he's coming with pure destruction. So for all you prideful men who are out there talking shit, thinking that you the one who discovered yourself and you're the one who gave you, who gave you all this knowledge and understanding, okay, you're going to be brought low real soon. Just a matter of time. All right? Let's go to Hebrews chapter 3. We're going to jump down to verse 11. It says, "So I swear in my wrath, they shall not enter into my rest." Now, this is talking about these wicked Israelites, all right, at the time. But we also now can use this for the time that we're living in. Because isn't it not written, the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets? So all you men who have put your hand on the plow, who've been around for quite a few years, who've professed the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, who was on the street corners, so-called tearing it up and, breaking it down and telling Esau is the devil. All you men, this verse 11 is a fearful verse, man. And this is why I entitled a little bit of lack of fear. You should be fearful, especially at the time we're living in. The Lord is bringing judgment upon this earth. All right? And nobody's exempt, man. If you're doing wrong, you're not exempt. If you're doing the work of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai deceitfully, you're not exempt. Okay? So, again, so I swear in my wrath, they shall not enter into my rest. If you wanna be deleted over here with Esau Edom, and if you feel that the judgment that's set for Esau Edom is a judgment that you should receive, well, keep doing what you're doing, man. We want to get the hell out of here. We want to see the fall of Babylon the Great. We want to see the missiles destroy and smash this place. But the only way you can receive that sight is if you're in good standing with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. If you're doing your reasonable service. Talking shit, telling stories ain't gonna get you there, my man. Whoever you may be, you scoffers and scorners, we understand and we know, right, that when the Lord seals this thing up, when he pulls us off these streets, we ain't teaching out in these streets anymore, there's going to be a lot of moving parts as the scripture says, they're going to run to and fro, seeking to hear the word, and shall not find it. Right? But at the same time, you scoffers and scorners are going to believe in yourselves that you're the reason why we're not out there teaching no more. And you're going to rejoice in those days and be happy because you think you've done something. You think you've done a good work. Well, this has been prophesied way before you people were ever on this planet, right? That time is going to come where there's going to be a famine of hearing this word. Not because of you damn scoffers and podcasters and scorners, not because of you. All right? This is the will of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And you people better think really hard, all right? And question and ask yourself, is this really going to happen? Because it is. And then when that time comes, there's going to be nobody else to pluck you out, man. To pluck you out of the danger. Nobody. Continuing on, verse 12. Take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief. Right? An evil heart of unbelief. And this is again another reason why a lot of you men have fallen out, because you do not believe. And even now, every waking morning, there's something about this coming third world's war. These nations are heating up and gearing up every morning. But you got Israelites out there who profess themselves to be in the truth or be in the know, who ain't giving two damns about none of what's going on. All right? The Lord is preparing that path for us. He's preparing that great exodus, that second exodus. He's preparing it, where we're going to be beamed up off this planet. And you people aren't even nowhere near concerned with any of that. Because you have been, Americanized in Babylon the Great. All right? You have all your dreams and hopes and dreams have been answered. You may have a big house, you may have a rap deal, right? You may be, you may got 4 or 5 wives. You're real comfortable over here. So therefore, why would one want this place to be destroyed? They got everything their hearts could desire. Okay? So the time is at hand. If you desire to be a part of this world and to live according to the ways and the fashions of this world and not looking forward to the things to come, that just goes to show you that the Lord put you in a certain lot. And that lot is to be taken with Esau Edom. That's a scary thought, man. That's a scary thought. Knowing that you're the chosen, the holy chosen line of Israel, and you're going to have to die with Esau Edom because you couldn't let go of the fashions of this world that he has set up for you. Second Ezra 15:3. It says, "Fear not the imagination against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee." All right? And you have just, it's at an all-time high. All right? And why do you think a lot of these podcasters and these, talk shows or whatever the hell they're called, why do you think they're talking about the Hebrew Israelites? Because this is the only thing going. This is the only thing that's popping right now. And it's going to stay popping until the Lord comes back to destroy this place. I mean, you got these average podcasters, trying to go in on the Hebrew Israelites, because they know this is where the content is. But again, It ain't of our doing. The Lord set this up, man. The Lord's going to bring all this attention to the brothers and the brotherhood. The Lord's going to do it. And then the Lord's going to show you how he defends his men. That's what he's going to show you. So all you people who are coming up against us, talking shit, making noise, and trying to make, falsely accuse us of everything under the sun, you watch. Yahweh Shemi Shai is going to come to our defense. Okay? And this is what you people truly don't understand. Because you lack faith, you don't believe, you're full of pride, and you've been set and placed in a lot that would give you the ability to scoff and scorn. And this is what your hearts are full for. You people got a full heart because you've been allowed to scoff and scorn at the men of the Lord, not knowing that this is going to be your downfall. Okay? Not knowing this is going to be your damn downfall. And a lot of you people, you just decide that I'm just going to be me. I'm going to do me. You get kicked out. The Lord kicks you out. And now you want to do you and be you. Sirach 2:13, it says, woe unto him that is faint-hearted. Right. When you get tired, you take your hand off the plow, you want to go and get faded and get the line up and get tightened up. You got faint-hearted. This wasn't meant for you. It says, woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not. How can you go from preaching and teaching about the destruction of Babylon the Great, Esau, Edom going into slavery, all these other nations going into slavery? How can you go from teaching that to now all of a sudden none of this is true anymore? None of it matters anymore. Why? For he believeth not. That's why. You don't believe that the Lord's coming back to destroy this place. You don't believe that this place is going to burn with thermonuclear fire. You don't believe that the Lord is raising us up and is going to set us back up as kings of the earth. You don't believe all that, any of it. And because you don't believe, what does the last part of this verse say? Therefore shall he not be defended. And what did I just got through saying? You scoffers and scorners who come up against us, you watch. You watch how the Lord defends his men. And then you're going to know. Then you're going to understand. And then you're going to be like, I'm sorry. But it might be too late. As a matter of fact, it's going to be too late. All right? A man who is faint-hearted, he's the type of guy that gives up and wants to give you every excuse under the sun of why he's given up. And we've seen this many a time before, where now people talk about, I don't believe what y'all teach. I don't believe in that. Well, why not? Why not? There's nothing else out there that you can truly, grab onto that resonates within your spirit. There's nothing else out there. Because anything outside of these scriptures is I'll say, Esau, Edom driven, man. Love and compassion, and everybody can make it. Just call on the name. The name doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what color he is. The Lord has no color. We're all God's children. God loves everybody. God wouldn't do something like that. These are the terms that they use in the world. And when a man falls out the truth, these are the terms that they resort back to. Again, the lesson is pride, unbelief, and lack of fear. If you're walking down the street and you know that at the end of that road there's a big ass Rottweiler down there, right? What are you going to do? you're not going to continue walking down that same street. Why? Because of the fear of that dog down there. All right? So you're going to change your course of direction because of the fear of the dog. You don't want to get bit. So you can equate that with this truth. If you fear the Lord, you're going to refrain from doing and being wicked, man. And follow instructions. Why? Because you don't want to be destroyed. But because the Lord is intangible, right? You can't see the Lord, you can't feel him. Therefore, there's no need for you to fear him. You see? But it doesn't work like that. Believing in the words that has been spoken and that has been written is what's going to make you understand that the Lord liveth. What's now going to put that fear in you that you're going to do right, to be accepted, that the Lord does not destroy you. But again, here in Babylon the Great, there's just so many different, ways you can go. This universal society, this universal system. If you don't like this way, you can do it that way. If you don't want to do it that way, you can do it this other way. Shit, you ain't got to do it at all. This is what this society teaches you. All right? We have been given laws, statutes, commandments. All right? Judgments. We have been given these things. And a wise man is going to adhere to them and hold them fast to the best of his ability while we're in this kingdom. All right? So again, when all hell breaks loose and shit starts going south, who's going to defend you in that time? And this is why we pray without ceasing to the Lord. This is why we call upon the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. This is why we're faithful and true servants. This is why we're obedient. Because we look and hope and pray that we can be defended and protected and delivered from the wrath of the Lord. Proverbs 8:13. It says, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride, and arrogancy. All right? That's part of fearing the Lord. To hate evil and pride and arrogancy. And the evil way and the froward mouth do I hate. Okay? Now, if you don't fear the Lord, you're gonna boast, you're gonna bathe yourself in pride, in evil, in arrogancy. You're gonna love to do evil, be wicked, wicked thoughts running through your mind. All right? Because you have no fear in the Lord. And when you don't fear in the Lord, you don't believe there's any consequences. And this is why a lot of you people didn't have the I'll say the spiritual and mental strength to endure. It's easy to be out in the world. It's easy to be a part of this world because there's no consequence being in a part of this world. Here in Babylon the Great, you can do whatever the hell you want, man. You can marry a goddamn rock if you want to. Okay? So, if you take the path of least resistance, you're in the right place. This is where you belong, right here in Babylon. Because 2025 is a very soft time to live, man. Everybody's accepted. There's let's say the judgment-free zone. You can't pass judgment on nobody. You can't hurt anybody's feelings. You can't say certain things to people. when Esau put in his own laws the freedom of speech, right? Esau put that in his law books. But let you go out and say something to somebody. Now you're going to get charged. Because you said something to somebody that Esau gave you the right to do. This place got to go, man. And you Jakes, you Israelites, and you out there who are promoting the wickedness of Babylon, defending Babylon, defending what this, you people got to go too, man. Enough is enough. Get your asses out of here too. May the Lord strike you too. All right? But the point being made, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride, and arrogancy, and the evil way. You're supposed to hate these things, man. Psalms 111 and 10. It says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever. All right. I started off by saying in this lesson, where's the praise of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man? All right. Even if you have a problem with certain brothers, certain camps, I should say. If you got a problem with certain camps, why ain't you praising Yahweh Bashem Yahushai? Why ain't you pushing the word? That's one thing that can keep you safe, man. Fine. It wasn't meant for all brothers to get along in this kingdom. It wasn't meant for it to happen this way, which is fine. But when we get into the kingdom, then the Lord will heal all wounds, man. But right now, why don't you come out? Y'all should go out, push the word. All right? Do his commandments. His praises endure forever. But it's too hard because Babylon is like a kid, a child who goes into a candy store. They just can't help themselves. They want everything. I want this, I want that. Can I have that? I want to buy this, I want to buy that. This is what Babylon does to you people. It gives you the opportunity to do whatever you want without any consequences, without any repercussion. This is what Babylon's all about. And again, this is why this place has to be destroyed. This place gotta go. There's nothing sound about Babylon. Shit, even these countries over in the Middle East, have more dignity and integrity in sense of character, if you will. Here in America, absolutely not 1 ounce. Not 1 ounce. We ain't praying for this place. Well, we praying for it. We praying for it to be destroyed. Okay? Let's wrap this up now. This is Sirach 18 and 27. It says, a wise man will fear in everything. In the day of sinning, he will beware of offense. But a fool will not observe the time. Okay? So a wise man is going to be fully circumspect in all things. Right? If you got a man, if there's a man out there who tells you, they've been taught this way. I mentioned this earlier. Oh, they've been taught this way. Well, wait a minute. Again, you have to have that level of examination of yourself. You can't just put it on other men. Oh, that's what they taught me. Oh, see, I'm gonna run with it. That's it. You gotta examine yourself, man. It's like a child going off to school, right? Let's say them preschool, you drive them, you get them to school, but once they start taking them that grade school bus, they're going off into the world now. All right? And they got to carry themselves a certain way. while they're going off into the world. Same thing with us in this truth. When you come in as a young man in the truth, you're still not fully submerged, all right? But you're that young child being brought up the right way. And the things that you have been taught, you're now understanding how to navigate through this truth. All right? And you may see something like, I see these kids over there smoking cigarettes. Well, that means you're going to go smoke too just because they're smoking? Absolutely not. If you've been taught, listen, don't smoke them cigarettes, then you ain't going to smoke them. But that's just a small example of you as a man. You got to examine yourself. Sometimes you'll be by yourself and you think back, what would the brothers think? What would the Lord do? What would the apostles do? What would my elders do? What would the brethren do? What would the brethren think if I'm doing some bullshit? Examine yourself. This is why it says a wise man will fear in everything. Okay? Being in Babylon, we're subjected to wickedness all goddamn day long. All it takes is one false move. But again, being a wise man in understanding the things that you've learned, you're not going to be subject to want to take that false move. Make that false move. You're going to think twice about it. Nah, I'm not going to fuck with that. All right? It says, in the day of sinning, he will beware of offenses, but a fool will not observe the time. And this is why men get those excuses going. Yeah, they made me do it. I didn't know any better. You again, when you first come in as a newborn, right? Newborn, there are things that you'll still gravitate to as a newborn in the truth. But until the Lord starts to sup with you and your spirit starts to get built up, you then understand, I'm not doing that no more. I don't want to be a part of that. So now you're bewaring of all the offenses and what the consequences could bring you. Thinking about those consequences is a great way of keeping you, on the straight and narrow. But a fool will not observe the time. So a fool will do what? He'll make up an excuse. I'm like, I didn't know I was supposed to do that. I didn't know I couldn't do that. Full of excuses. But all that being said, I'm gonna end it with that. And again, the name of the title of the lesson: pride, unbelief, and lack of fear. These are 3 components that are detrimental to your health being in this truth. And we see a lot of men utilizing these 3 tools because they can't separate themselves from the ways of this world. And if they can't separate themselves from the ways of this world, there's only but one decree for you. You can talk all the shit all you want, but the Lord does not sleep. All right? So Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to see y'all another one. I'm going to say shalom.